Hi everyone, my name is Rajita. I'm lecturer in commerce and working at Government Degree College, Mortad. Today our topic is financial inclusion. So financial inclusion means availability and equality of opportunity to access financial services. That means if the poor people are the facilities who are not having the banking facilities areas can also have the financial services facility by using financial inclusions. So financial inclusion facilitates everyone to access to financial services at a reasonable rate. So if, for example, if we see there are very remote areas, there could be a very remote area, so those people cannot access to banking services or other financial services. So the financial inclusion makes possibility to access banking facilities and financial facilities for their requirements. So the financial inclusion makes the financial instruments for a affordable and timely financial products and services to the remote area people and other who are not having financial services at their place or at their areas. So there are different things which can restrict the financial services. If we see in India, the housewives cannot get financial independence because of the customs, because of the rituals, because of the mentalities. So the households are restricted to financial services. So financial inclusion makes households to get access to financial services, financial products. So if we see the financial inclusion follows, it is an access to a reasonable cost to households at a full range of financial services. I mean, it will what the financial inclusion gives. It gives the access to households. If we, as I said, in India, housewives cannot get financial independence. So what the financial inclusion makes, the financial inclusion facilitates that households can also get a reasonable and a equal full range of financial services. So it is possible with financial inclusion. And financial and institution sustainability ensures continuity and certainty of investment. So what it makes, financial inclusion makes a sustainability and certainty in investments. If we see, there are different kind of schemes in India for households. If we say self-help groups, so it makes the households by making a group, they will help each other. So what happens, the investment will be very sustained and certainty will be there. And the competition to ensure choice and affordability for clients. So the competition in the sense, every bank and every financial institutions will try to give financial inclusion, financial services to remote area. With that, the competition will ensure the quality financial services can be given to the people who are very poor or in very remote areas. So next, if we see the financial inclusion in India, the initiation of Government of India and RBI together made a tremendous progress in financial inclusion in India. The Mangalam and Puducherry became the first villages in India where all households were provided banking facilities. So as I said, so the financial inclusion makes households and remote area people and village people, illiterate people can also be able to access to banking facilities and financial services. So in India, the Government of India and RBI together made an initiation to give financial inclusion to the people who are very poor, who are in remote areas. And the RBI made some strategies to make possible of financial inclusion in India. If we see, RBI initiated several measures to achieve greater financial inclusion. If we see, some facilities were also provided to make possibility of financial inclusion in India. If we see the basic saving bank deposit accounts, so these are also called as zero balance account, which was started in 2014 by Narendra Modi. So what gives with the zero balance? If we want to open a bank account, we have to deposit a minimum amount into that account. But with this zero balance bank accounts, there is no any need to pay to open a bank account. With this facility, the poor people and households who are housewives, so they can easily access to the banking services. So without paying any minimum deposit to open a bank account, they can easily open bank account and they can make transactions with the bank. And there is also another strategy or another mode or method is know your customer. So it was initiated in 2005 by RBI. In this, what happens? The bank will take the complete information of the customers, including personal details, professional details, habits. It includes every detail of the customer. So with that, the bank can identify, the bank can assure, the bank can be able to know their customer and their requirements and their needs. With that, the bank can provide or create easy schemes which are available, are making available to the customers to avail and to use of those schemes which are very which are very easily to be used. And there is another model, that is business correspondent model. It was introduced in 2006. It permits bank to engage intermediaries in banking process. Generally, if we see in any process, there will be some intermediaries, but there were no intermediaries in banking. So the person can go directly to the bank for any transactions. But if we are talking about the remote areas and households who are mainly housewives, they cannot go out of the house. So for that, those people, bank will send a correspondent to their places for making banking transactions. With that, the households and remote area people can also access banking services at their places with this banking correspondent model. And there is also another strategy, that is financial technology by using business correspondent model. So providing financial technology means making availability of online and mobile banking and the other technologies which are very easy to access to banking services. So this is also one of the strategy, and it was initiated and implemented through the business correspondent model. And with that, what happens, the banking correspondent will go to the places by using online services and mobile banking. He will be making transactions to bank of the customers. There is another strategy, another method in India for financial inclusions, that is unique credit card. Let's say Kisan credit cards. So these are the Kisan credits are mainly issued for the farmers, because the farmers are getting very less credit facility in our India. For that, there are different kind of schemes, different kind of banks which are providing financial assistance to the farmers. In the same way, there is with this financial inclusions, the government has introduced the Kisan credit cards. So with that, the farmers can get microcredit very few steps to be followed, and they will be getting a credit facility with these cards. So whoever having the card, with that card, by providing the details of the card, they can get loan easily. So the other thing is electronic benefit transfer. So with this, by using electronic devices like online banking or mobile phones, so the fund transfers will be very easy, so from one place to another place. And the other method which followed by RBI in financial inclusion in India is self-help groups. So these are the groups mainly introduced for housewives. So with this, what happens, the housewives will make a group, and they will be saving certain amount within a interval. So with that, they will be helping each other who are in the groups. With that, the every housewife can get financial independence. With that, they can do business, or they can make some other financial independence with these self-help groups. And there are other strategies by government. So let's say Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Development Employment Guarantee Act. So with this, the government sees whether every person who are in rural areas, either they're getting the employment or not. So the government policy of this will try to give employment for the people who are in remote areas. And there is other policy, that is Pradhan Jan Dhan Yojana, which is introduced in 2014. So every year there will be initial amount deposited into those people who are opened account in the name of Pradhan Jan Dhan Yojana, to make initiation for farmers or for make initiations to other businesses. So later the amount will be collected by government, but before that they will be depositing minimum amount into their accounts. This is the financial inclusion and financial inclusion in India. So the topic is foreign banks. So the foreign banks means the banks having branches in different countries, called as foreign banks. If we see, if any other country bank having branch in India, so those banks are called as foreign banks. If we say as definition, the foreign banks is a type of international banks that is obligated to follow the regulations of both home and host countries. So the foreign banks has to follow the home countries rules and regulations and hosting countries rules and regulations. So these banks are very limited access to the host countries, because of there will be other banks and domestic banks will be there who are operating throughout the country. So the foreign banks are restricted to some area, some percent into the market. So if we see, the foreign banks loan limit are based on the parent bank's capital. So if we see the other country bank having branch in our country, in India, so the bank transactions, the bank facilities are restricted to the capital which is there in their home country. So with that, from home country's capital, they will be taking some share, they will be taking a part of the capital to invest into the host country. So there is a restriction and there is a drawback of very limited capital in foreign banks, and foreign banks can provide more loans to subsidiary bank. There is an thing that foreign banks can directly open their branch in the host countries, or they can act as subsidiaries to the domestic banks. So if the foreign bank acting as subsidiary to the domestic banks, they will provide loans to the subsidiary banks. If we see, let's take example. So there is a Barclays Bank which is originated from England. So if Barclays Bank has branch in India, or if it is acting as subsidiary for SBI or for any other banks, so what happens, the Barclays Bank will give loans to the SBI. So it is a subsidiary bank to the SBI. So the SBI can get loans from Barclays, and those loans will be issued to the public. But subsidiary means it has no branch, or it has no direct branch in the host countries. So with that, so what happens, the subsidiary bank can get the loans from the foreign banks. The foreign banks are present in India either as representative offices or as branches. So here in India, the concept, the foreign banks either called as offices or branches, but there is no any subsidiary banks, subsidiary foreign banks in India. So either they can open their office, and let's say, as I said, the example of Barclays, either they can open an office in India for making transactions, or they can open directly branch in India, but there is no any subsidiary facility opening subsidiary facility in India. So with this, what happens, they can directly access to Barclays, and they can directly open branch, which is very easy. Whoever having accounts with the Barclays Bank, or if the countries are people coming to India, they will be this will be the facility for those foreigners who are coming from England to India. So it is easy to them to access their accounts in India also. Foreign banks often have correspondent banking relationship with the domestic banks. What they are doing, they are corresponding relationships. So they will be representing in India, but they are not having the full-fledged authority to do business in India. So by having relationship with the domestic banks, foreign banks can provide foreign currency access to the correspondent financial institutions. So here, so they will be making a relationship with the domestic banks, and they are providing the foreign currency access to the financial institutions in India. Let's say the SBI or the other IFCI, there are different financial institutions are there in India. Now let's see foreign banks in India. As of November 2018, there are 45 foreign banks in India, and with the 256 branches in all over India. So there will be some criteria to open the other countries' bank branches or bank transaction in India. There are some eligibility criteria. So the eligibility criteria for a foreign bank to open a branch or to open an office in India, they must have at least 5 billion rupees towards capital. So if they are trying to open a branch or office in India, they must have capital of 5 billion. This is the eligibility criteria. And the operations, how they have to operate in India. So the operation mode is either the foreign banks can open a branch, or they can also act as subsidiaries. In beginning days, in earlier days, there is no any subsidiary option, but later the subsidiary option has included for foreign banks. So either they can open a branch directly into in our country, or they can act as subsidiary for any other bank who are making agreement with the banks. So the other the thing is market share. So it will decide how much share can have in the market, because there are different kind of domestic banks are there who are occupying the market share. So there will be some share of for foreign banks. So the government and the RBI restricted that share for 1%. So the foreign banks can have only 1% share in the banking market in India, because if the foreign bank has more market share in India, there is a threat for domestic banks. So for that, government of India and RBI restricted foreign bank share to only 1%. Most of the foreign banks focused on trade finance, external commercial borrowings. So whoever having the branches in India by other countries, so they are mainly focused not on the banking transaction, making deposits or giving loans or other banking transaction. They are focused only for trade finance and external commercial borrowings. If a person making any export and import business, so he can take trade finance through that foreign banks which are representing the export country. So this is the facility for the exporter and importer, and they are also concentrating on the trade finance and external commercial borrowings. So this is the situation of foreign banks in India.